welcome to another video in the ABS series. Hopefully breaking them up into these mini series is more helpful. I could have done like one video, here's how to install ABS, but I think I would have probably been glazing over some of the details, or the video would be too long and people wouldn't really watch it. I think breaking it up down into these minier sections, you can easily go and see, here's the mounting of it, here's the routing, here's the wiring, and it'll be easier to digest and hopefully help people in more useful ways, what I'm trying to achieve. In this video, we will be installing the front hubs. Since, as I explained in the first video, since my car was a non-ABS car, I don't actually have this toner ring. So I just bought a brand new hub. I got this from Rock Auto, and they all come with the toner ring on there. Those hubs are also original, so they needed to be replaced. So this will be all new bearings. But since we have wheel spacers on that car, these studs just aren't going to cut it. These are the stock length studs. So we will be replacing them with some 3-inch long Moroso lug studs. So that's the same ones that I have on the car currently. So we will replace with some brand new. So we will just use the press. We'll press these out, press those ones in, and then we will get this installed onto the car. And with that, let's get to work. All right, replacing the front hub is pretty simple. We'll pull off the brakes, we'll pop this cap off, and underneath there is a 36 millimeter nut. And it is torqued really high, so we'll need to break that torque. It's the torque rating for that nut is a minimum of 220 foot-pounds. So I think I'll use my big 1/2-inch impact to try to break that loose. Otherwise, I think we'll be able to just break it loose with a breaker bar, because it shouldn't spin since it's on the actual spindle and not on the hub. But we'll break those, we'll get that all off. It just pulls off. We'll put the new one on, torque it all up, and then the hub is all done. So it is a simple job, but it is something that you really need to check and make sure is good. A bearing failure in the hub can easily ruin your track day. So we'll get that all pulled off. Alright, so there's a little bit of burn marks going on right there. So I don't know if that means that this bearing was maybe on its way to fail. It also looks like the burn marks are mostly just on the top. So that could be from the excessive camber on there. But we will get new ones all installed. I'll clean this guy up just a little bit, and the new one just will slap right on. We'll tighten up the nut, torque it to the 220 to 240 foot-pounds, I believe it is, but I'll double check that. I think before I put the new hubs on, I think I'll go ahead and put the speed sensor in there, because I'm probably going to have to clean up that hole, maybe tap it or something like that first. But we'll get that all installed and figured out. All right, the hub is all back reassembled. I was able to just put a second nut on there to hold this bracket on. That is basically what they do from the factory. The speed sensor's all done. Let's see if you can see in there. You can see the ring. Speed sensor's right on the outside here. A brand new hub. Still need to figure out the routing for that guy and the routing for the brake lines, but that will be done in probably the next video. Going back here to the back, got the brake line is installed. I still need to do this portion. I think it will kind of go something up in here. So I started putting in the speed sensor to see what that looks like, and I screwed up. So I had previously mentioned that I had taken out the axle and took off the toner ring because I thought I didn't need it, and then I put it back on another time when I had the axle out. I did not realize that the toner ring goes on a certain direction, so I put it on backwards, so it's not actually lining up. So I'll show you what that looks like. So as you can see, the speed sensor sitting there, but it's not actually anywhere close to the ring. So this ring, if it was mounted the opposite direction, it would line up perfectly because it's kind of offset on how it goes on there. I did not realize that of when I put them back on, that it goes on a certain direction. So yeah, now I just created more work for me, and I got to take these axles all the way off, press them off, and hope that they press back on the right direction and they're not actually enlarged too much where they'll go on and stay on. So I might have to buy new ones. We'll have to see. But I guess it will also be a good teaching experience because now I get to show how to take that off, press it off, put a new one on. So my screw up benefits you guys. So yeah, I'm going to get this axle drained, and then I'll show quickly on how to remove the axle. It's super simple. It's these are C-clip axles, so you still have to take off the cover and pull out the center portion in the diff, and you just pull off a C-clip, and then you can slide these right out. Super simple. It's just a little bit of work and a little bit of draining fluid that I didn't really want to do because the fluid is fairly new in there, but so it goes. All right, now that I got the axles out, you can see the issue that I was running into. See how this guy is offset, so it's flat on this side and then offset on this side. So I had the offset going down, as you can see, kind of on this one. So this is still, has not been pressed off. This one has. So I just need to flip this around so when it goes on, it will be further inboard now. So I'll be using the press, get those all pressed back on. Hopefully they go on with no issues, and I don't need to actually buy some new ones, but we'll see. These are pretty cheap. You can get these from a Rock Auto also. So here's the drawing for installing the ring. This is the distance that it needs to be. If I actually looked at this drawing beforehand, I would have been able to tell that the offset goes towards the inside, but I didn't use this. I just kind of put it on where it looked like the axle, or where the ring was on the axle before. So my mistake, and now I'm having to redo everything. So I'll put it on at this distance and get it all set up correctly. Alright, so I have the toner ring back on. Got the speed sensor just kind of pushed in there. So it's looking really good, but as we spin it, you can see the gap changing there. It's kind of contacting the speed sensor. So this guy is kind of warped, bent, something. So I'm going to order a new one for both sides just so I don't have to worry about it. And we'll have brand new toner rings that will press on there, get the right distance on here so we can have the speed sensor work. You can also see this is where the brake line is going to be going to. So I just put a riv nut up in there. So these are the new brake lines. So this will go up and attach to that riv nut on the frame. That's getting rid of the brake line that used to run along the axle. So all the brake lines are now out of the car. I just need to figure out how I want to run the new ones, which I'll be doing that in the next video, but either run underneath the car and kind of come up here like stock, or maybe run it through the car and pop out somewhere in here or something like that. But I will figure out the best option and go from there. Also, for this speed sensor, normally it would go up in here right through where the torque box is and up into the rear passenger area. So unfortunately, I have the lower torque box reinforcement down here. So that hole that speed sensor would normally go through is covered. So I got to figure out a new way to get this speed sensor through. Got a couple options. I mean, I could drill out a hole into that those battle boxes, but it's quite thick. I got 2 plates and then the body that I would have to go through. So I don't know if that's really the best option. There's also other places in here that I could try to drill through. I'm kind of eyeing this area right here. I already got this hole that kind of comes through there, so I can cut that out to I think this was like 1 3/4 inches or something like that. But there's also a couple other areas down here that I could try to look at, but I'm thinking right there is going to be my ticket. So I'm going to get these toner rings switched out with some new ones, and we'll check back with you guys in a few seconds. All right, the rear end is all done. So I got the brake line mounted up there. I have the ABS sensor ran. I ended up running the ABS line up in there. I drilled a big hole and ran the grommet up through there. Since I don't have the factory style spring on there, there's plenty of room. I'm not worried about it getting caught on anything. The new ABS ring is also on here. It's looking really good. No longer wavy, bent, or whatever. It might have been pressed on, slightly crooked, the old one, I don't know. But brand new. These are from Rock Auto. New sensor also from Rock Auto, because I was missing just this driver side. I had all the other ones, but I didn't have this one. So I'll wrap it up for this video. I got the front hubs installed that have the toner ring on them. Got the speed sensor installed up there. Got the toner rings installed in the back, and got the speed sensors all installed and ran back here. I got the new brake line that goes to the caliper installed. I had to bend it a little bit to get it to make it around the shock here, but that wasn't too big of a deal. In the next video, I will finally go through the plumbing that's going on the car to get these brakes all working, because I'm going to need to route all new brake lines due to moving the ABS inside the car. I'll go through the wiring to get that ABS working. It's pretty simple. There's only a few wires that really have to be ran. You need power, the speed sensors, brake pedal, and a few other things, and that will basically get the ABS all working. It's a pretty nice standalone unit. But in the next video, I'll be going all over that. And by the end of the next video, I think I should have the ABS all plumbed and working. I don't know if I'll be able to test it right at the end of that video, just because of having to get the car on the ground, and there's a few other things that need to be done before that. But it'll all be done before the first event, hopefully. So, thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next video.